Imagine, what if the most widespread herbivorous mammal on Earth, found on every continent, the primary food source for predators, and the invisible architect of ecosystems, disappeared overnight? What if this loss led to the collapse of predator populations, uncontrolled growth of grasslands, and the disruption of nature's most delicate balance? Today, we're discovering the unexpected and devastating chain reaction that would be created by the erasure of rabbits from the world. Get ready, because these adorable animals play a far more critical role than you'd think. Now we continue our documentary with extinct species today. Leporti, the rabbit family, one of the world's most widespread herbivorous mammal families. Currently, over 60 rabbit species live on the planet, found on nearly every continent, except Antarctica. From Australia's wild rabbits to North America's cottontails, from Europe's hares to Asia's pygmy rabbits, they display incredible diversity. Rabbits are animals most of us see as cute and harmless. In children's tales, animations, as pets in homes, rabbits are everywhere. But behind this simple image hides one of the ecosystem's most critical components. Rabbits are the cornerstones of the food chain. They consume grasses, plants, and bark, converting energy into animal form. Then, they become the primary food source for almost all medium and large predators. Foxes, jackals, badgers, snakes, eagles, hawks, owls, lynx, wolves, all hunt rabbits. Without rabbits, most of these predators cannot survive. So what if you woke up one day and all rabbits had disappeared? Pet rabbits, wild rabbits, the entire Leporti family. This scenario isn't just imaginary. Historically, the collapse of regional rabbit populations has led to chain catastrophes. And if a global extinction occurred, the consequences would be disastrous. Let's examine this possibility in detail and discover rabbits' true importance. Rabbits are the main prey species in nearly all terrestrial ecosystems. They are vitally important, especially for medium-sized predators. Foxes get 60 to 70% of their diet from rabbits. The red fox's survival is directly dependent on rabbit populations. For birds of prey like eagles, hawks, and owls, rabbits are the basic food source. Golden eagles hunt small rabbits. Great horned owls go rabbit hunting at night. Without these birds, rodent populations become uncontrollable. The Iberian lynx, Europe's rarest cat species, feeds almost 90% on wild rabbits. In the early 2000s, rabbit populations in Spain collapsed due to disease. The result? The Iberian lynx nearly went extinct. Only a few hundred individuals remained. This is a living example of how the loss of a single prey species can bring a predator species to the brink of extinction. Wolves, badgers, mountain lions, and other large predators use rabbits as snacks. When they can't find large prey, rabbits save lives. Rabbits are especially critical for young predators. Young hunters learn to hunt on rabbits. Without rabbits, most of these predators would die of starvation or turn to different prey. This creates pressure on other species populations. If foxes can't find rabbits, they hunt more small birds, rodents, and reptiles. These species populations rapidly decline. Ecosystem balance is disrupted. Rabbits are important not just for predators, but also as managers of grasslands and meadows. Rabbits keep grasses short and manageable. By constantly grazing, they prevent certain plant species from becoming dominant. This increases plant diversity. Research shows that areas grazed by rabbits have 30 to 40% more plant diversity. As rabbits eat tall grasses, they allow sunlight to reach the soil. This enables short plants and flowers to grow. Result: more colorful, more diverse meadows. Rabbit droppings enrich the soil. This high-nitrogen fertilizer stimulates plant growth. Rabbits soften and aerate the soil. Foot traffic helps seeds embed in the soil. Without rabbits, grasslands grow uncontrollably. Tall grasses suppress short plants. Diversity decreases. In some areas, single grass species become dominant. These monoculture ecosystems are vulnerable to diseases and pests. Additionally, fire risk increases. Long, dry grasses are perfect fuel. A study in England showed that areas with declining rabbit populations experience shrub and tree invasion. Rabbits eat young tree saplings, thus keeping grasslands open. Without rabbits, grasslands turn into forests. This is good for some species, but disastrous for species adapted to meadows. Many butterflies, bees, and other pollinators depend on open meadows. By maintaining these habitats, rabbits support pollinators. If pollinators decrease, plant reproduction is disrupted, food production is affected. Rabbits are tunnel digging experts. Wild rabbits create complex underground burrow systems, some longer than 30 meters and containing numerous chambers. These tunnels become homes not just for rabbits, but for many other species too. Owls shelter in abandoned rabbit burrows. Monitor lizards cool off in rabbit tunnels on hot days. Tortoises use rabbit burrows. Insects, spiders, and small mammals live in these tunnels. Rabbit burrows transform into mini ecosystems. Additionally, these tunnels aerate the soil, increase water infiltration, and reduce erosion. Rabbit activity significantly affects soil health. Without rabbits, these burrow systems disappear. Species dependent on them cannot find shelter. Some insect and reptile species, especially in desert and arid regions, rely on rabbit burrows to survive. These species might disappear along with rabbits. Rabbits have been serving human societies for thousands of years. Domestic rabbits have been raised in Europe for at least 1,500 years. Initially, they were produced for meat and fur. In the Middle Ages, rabbit meat was a protein source. Monks raised rabbits in monasteries. Today, rabbits are used for meat, fur, and scientific research. Millions of rabbits are raised annually for these purposes. Rabbit meat is a low-fat, high-protein food source. It's consumed worldwide, especially popular in Mediterranean and Asian countries. Rabbit fur is used for clothing and handicrafts. Angora rabbits produce soft, warm wool. This wool is valuable for luxury sweaters and hats. In scientific research, rabbits are used as model organisms. Medical tests, drug development, toxicity studies. Rabbits are preferred because their physiology resembles human physiology. Monoclonal antibody production is done in rabbits. If rabbits disappear, these industries collapse. Finding alternative sources is difficult. Economic loss reaches billions of dollars. Thousands of farmers and workers lose their livelihoods. But more importantly, medical research slows down. Testing new drugs becomes harder. Critical discoveries for human health are delayed or never happen. Rabbits have deep roots in culture. The Easter Bunny is a symbol of fertility and rebirth in Christian tradition. The moon rabbit appears in Asian mythology. In Chinese, Japanese, and Korean folklore, the rabbit lives on the moon and prepares an elixir of immortality. The white rabbit in Alice in Wonderland represents the flow of time. Bugs Bunny is a pop culture icon. Peter Rabbit is a beloved character for generations of children. Rabbit's foot is carried as a lucky charm. This tradition is hundreds of years old. Rabbit symbolism, speed, agility, fertility, is woven into the fabric of language and culture. If rabbits disappear, these cultural references lose meaning. Future generations won't understand why rabbits were so important. Gaps form in folklore, literature, and art history. Pet rabbits are companions to millions of people. Over 6 million pet rabbits live in the U.S. They're not just animals sitting in cages. They're trainable, affectionate companions with personality. Rabbits are ideal pets especially for children, the elderly, and apartment dwellers. They're quiet, require relatively little care, and can form deep bonds. The loss of a rabbit is as painful as losing a dog or cat. The sudden extinction of rabbits would be traumatic for pet owners. Grief, sense of loss, and breaking of emotional bonds would occur. For children, losing a pet rabbit might be their first major loss experience. Some predators could switch to alternative prey in the absence of rabbits. Foxes would hunt more mice, squirrels, and birds. Jackals and wolves would turn to larger prey, deer, antelopes, even livestock. This creates threats for both wildlife populations and livestock farming. Specialized hunters like snakes and lynx would struggle more. These species have specialized in rabbit hunting. Adapting to different prey is difficult and time-consuming. Many individuals would die of starvation. Populations would rapidly decline. Rodent populations would explode. Rabbits reduce predation pressure on rodents by sharing it. Without rabbits, foxes and owls would focus entirely on mice. But this wouldn't be enough to control the increasing mouse population. Mouse invasions would begin in agricultural areas. Food losses would increase. Disease risk would rise. Technology could partially fill rabbits' role. Mechanical grazing could manage grasslands, but it's expensive and energy-intensive. Synthetic fertilizer could replace rabbit droppings, but chemical fertilizers create environmental pollution and deplete soil in the long term. Alternative food sources could be developed for predators, farm production, synthetic meat. But for wild predators, this is practically impossible. Mimicking their natural feeding cycle isn't possible. Other herbivores, such as deer or antelopes, could partially assume rabbits' role. But these species don't exhibit rabbits' unique grazing patterns and burrowing behavior. Ecosystem function cannot be fully replaced. Fortunately, the global extinction of rabbits isn't currently a real threat. But some species are at risk. The Sumatran striped rabbit, riverine rabbit, and Amami rabbit face the threat of extinction. Habitat loss, hunting, and invasive species are the biggest threats. Myxomatosis and viral hemorrhagic disease periodically affect rabbit populations. These diseases can lead to regional collapses. In the 1950s in Australia, myxomatosis was deliberately spread. Rabbits were seen as an invasive species there. The disease reduced the rabbit population by 99%. The ecological impact was huge. Many predators were affected. To protect rabbits, habitat protection is essential. Grasslands, meadows, and wooded areas must be preserved. Overgrazing and urban expansion must be limited. Disease management is important. Vaccination programs can be implemented, especially for domestic and semi-wild populations. Monitoring disease spread and rapid intervention is critical. Invasive species control is necessary in some regions. Cats, foxes, and other invasive predators threaten rabbit populations, especially on islands. Control programs can protect sensitive rabbit species. Awareness and education are important. People must understand rabbits' ecological importance. Releasing pet rabbits is devastating. Domestic rabbits unsuited to nature both suffer themselves and disrupt local ecosystems. Rabbits are nature's humble heroes. Small, quiet, often overlooked. But without them, ecosystems collapse, predators die of starvation, grasslands turn into unbalanced forests. The story of rabbits teaches us this. Every species, no matter how ordinary it seems, serves a purpose. Nature is a complex machine, and every part is necessary. If you remove one part, the entire system breaks down. Protecting rabbits means protecting ecosystems. And protecting ecosystems means protecting ourselves. Because we're also part of this web. If rabbits disappear, the ripple effect eventually reaches us. Conclusion and call to action. Leporti, the rabbit family. Nature's seemingly ordinary but extraordinarily important heroes. They are the foundation of the food chain, managers of grasslands, the life source of predators. The extinction of rabbits is a chain catastrophe. Predators die of starvation, ecosystems lose their balance, plant diversity decreases, and the entire natural balance collapses. But rabbits are still here, still managing grasslands, still feeding predators, still giving life to ecosystems. Protecting them is our responsibility. Because by protecting them, we protect all of nature. What do you think is rabbits' most important role? Food for predators or grassland management? Do you have a pet rabbit? Share in the comments. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. In future episodes, we'll discover the effects of other species losses and learn together about nature's fragility. Until we meet in the next episode of Extinct Species Today, value every member of nature.